relationship के साथ। अरे कौन बोले ले ताली पैसे बता दे को बढ़िया के लिए है बता
याद रखना तो डॉक्टर शुभश्री सरकार शुभश्री सरकार शुभश्री सरकार नीतीश सिन्हा हेलो हेलो
हेलो
Sir, ये Julie के नाम से
मेरा
teacher.
Some participants have joined with double connection. I would request all such participants who have joined with double connection to please exit from one of the connections. Let other participants join. And please mute yourself so that the meeting can progress smoothly. I would request all the participants to mute themselves so that the meeting can progress smoothly. Those who have joined with double connection, please exit from one of the connections.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Please do not speak until and unless you are asked to. Otherwise, the presenter will get disturbed. So good evening and welcome to all the participants to today's training program on self-development by Ms. Lalita Sareen. She is hope all of you can hear me. She is an eminent CBSE resource person with a illustrious as principal of Jamshedpur Public School. Presently, she is heading Mount Literacy School as academic director. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to today's meeting. And before we start the meeting, let me request all the participants not to use the chat box unnecessarily until unless you are asked for by the presenter. And remember, the attendance link will not be sent today because attendance will be downloaded automatically from the website if you stay for minimum 45 minutes. Thank you. Over to Lalita ma'am for the meeting.
Thank you, Subhashri. And thank you to all the participants for taking time off to attend this workshop. I would request you to definitely unmute yourself when you want to ask a question. But please don't unmute yourself during the period of the presentation. Okay, so I hope all can hear me now. I would like it to be interactive, but in a disciplined way. So we begin with today's presentation. What is self-development? Now, self-development, as we all know, is unleashing your potential. Whatever you are good at and knowing who you are, what you're good at, and maximizing it to full use for yourself and for others. Now, it is a process. Self-development is a process to acquire new skills and for assessment, reflection, and taking action. So that is the meaning of self-development. Mostly it is confused with personal development, which we will discuss a little later on. So you can improve your performance, your productivity, and the quality of your whole life with self-development. And it is within you, in your hands. So if the power is with you, why not begin today? So let's see how we can, first slide please, how we can define self-development and how it is different. Next slide please. How it is different from, next slide. So what is self-development, which is confused with personal development? There are two different approaches to life. Of course, you need personal development. You also need self-development. Now, personal development is something that you acquire. And self-development, as you can read, focuses on developing the skills that you have further. It is inherent in you. You already have it, but you are modifying, honing, and making it more direct and productive. So that is the difference between personal development and self-development. For example, if you take a house, you buy a house, that is personal development. But after some years, when you want to change the infrastructure within the house, you want to change the position of the dining table or the sofas, that is what we would term as self-development. So please don't, self-development is something that you have and that you are honing. Any skill that you're good at, you make it better. So self-development process, as I said earlier, can be personal and interpersonal. So interpersonal, you develop your interaction with other people, and personal effectiveness skills like goal setting, time management, decision making, stress management, that will benefit you in your journey of life and profession. Next slide, please. So why do we need self-development? What's the need? I'm in a comfort zone. I am a good teacher. I have good reviews, good feedback. Why do I need self-development? So it's like if you buy a car and you don't give it for servicing ever, the car slowly loses its productivity, it stops. So you need more information. You need to learn and upgrade yourself so that there is some excitement in your profession and personal life. It is, you can make, dal every day for every meal, and it gets boring. So you can turn that dal into something different every day by using different ingredients, by the tadka you put. So you change it every day. It's the same thing with self-development. If you put the same inputs every day, don't expect a change in the output. So we have to have self-development. Old habits do not necessarily lead to new destinations. So if you want to travel widely in your profession and personal life, you need to develop on the personal front and self. So let's see why. Next slide, please. Why we need self-development. It provides clarity to the person vision. So self-development helps you to define your personal vision, where you're going, what do you want to do, what do you want to have, what do you want to be. These are all that you need for self-development, your reason for being alive. It improves your skills. You may be very good at some skill. Maybe you can talk very well, but you still need to hone your communication skills, because things are changing, vocabulary is enlarging, and you may get stumbled for want of words. So you need to include self-development in your schools also. So you also learn from your mistakes. You won't obviously repeat the same mistake. For example, if you get a burn from boiling water, the next time you're not going to put your finger in the boiling water because you've learned from it. That is self-development. Then it helps you to identify what you're good at. What are your capabilities? What your abilities are? What are you good at? That is a reflection that you will do and assess yourself. What you're good at, what you're also weak in. And it's a motivation to do something productive that will be helpful for everybody, for yourself. You need to motivate you to do something, to get up every morning. Sundays, when you don't have school, you laze around because there is no motivation. There's motivation to laze around in the bed. But every other day, the school bell is a motivation for you to be there on time. Or you like the work you're doing, so you want to get dressed and go to school and start doing something new. And it helps you focus on the bigger picture. It's not just what you're doing as a routine, but why you're doing something. What is the goal for doing something? Is it just to have a little bank balance, or is it something more? So they say, the three things one wants in life is health, happiness, and satisfaction. So it depends on health, wealth, and happiness. So it depends on what you think is wealth. It could be a big bank balance. It could be the wealth of relationships. It could be a wealth of knowledge and capabilities. So everybody has a different definition of wealth, which leads to happiness. Again, happiness is personal to everybody. One may get happiness out of helping somebody out. One may get happiness of doing something which has great returns. So happiness, again, is something that is personal to everybody. But self-development helps you to get what you really want. So how do we go about it? Big words, what is self-development? So how do we discover? We said that self-development is reflection and assessment and action. Reflection of your skills, of your potential. So how do I know what is my potential? How do I know what skill I'm good at? So, and what opportunities are available for me? So most of you must have heard of the SWOT analysis. SWOT is an acronym for strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So strengths, next slide, please. Here, of course, you discover next. Yes, you discover what you're good at. Strengths, next slide. So there must be something that you do very well, that others admire you for it, and you get appreciated for it. That's your strength. So it could be anything. You write very well, you talk very well, you're a good cook, you dress very well. So these are things that people notice in you and appreciate you for being better than most people. So that is your strength. So when you are doing strength, these are the questions you will ask. What are you really good at? What skill do others recognize in you, and what do you get rewarded for? So all of us have a number of strengths. So we need to recognize those strengths. We need to dig out those strengths. Sometimes we take our strengths very casually. We are not aware of it. But once we analyze and reflect, we know what our strengths are. And it's important to know what you are good at. Next slide. So that's the S of the SWOT. The W is the weaknesses. Here you think of things that you're not so good at. So I may not be a very good cook. I may not be a very good speaker. I make a lot of mistakes when I'm writing or when I'm meeting people. I'm tongue-tied. My communication skills are very low. So these are skills that I struggle to master. So you can ask a question, what do you do only because you have to do it in order to satisfy your job requirements? I have to go to class. I have to teach my children. So I do it in the same mundane way every single day. I cannot master the skill of active teaching. I cannot master the skill of engaging children in a profitable, productive manner. Are there one or two aspects of your personality that hold you back? So maybe you are an introvert, so you don't like meeting people. Maybe you are short of words, so you're not such a good speaker. So those are your weaknesses. There are many weaknesses that most of us have. You have to recognize your weaknesses. And it is important to know what you are weak at. It's as important to know your strength, because only then you can work towards it. Then comes the W's of the SWOT. So next slide, please. Sorry, next comes the opportunities. So what are the opportunities with the skills that you have and the weaknesses that you have? How can you still make good? So in what way can you take advantage of your strength? And say, suppose somebody tells you, you have beautiful eyes. So what do? Every time you dress up, you highlight your eyes. Or somebody says, you have lovely hair. So you try doing different styles with your hair. Somebody says you dress very well. So you take extra care about your dressing so that it is noticed. These are your strengths. Somebody says you communicate very well. So you take notice of the words that you're using when you are speaking. So take advantage of your strengths. And then what opportunities are open to people who do these things? So maybe you are in the teaching profession and you have very good communication skills. So are there other options open to you with these skills? What would you love to do that you're good at? Are you happy being a teacher? Very good. There's no reason to be unhappy. But if you are unhappy, how would you use your strengths to look at another opportunity? How can you minimize your weaknesses? Because these are what holds you back. So where do you see the most potential growth for yourself within your current company? Company would be your institution, or in a different, do you see with the kind of skills you have, do you see an opportunity to rise up the ladder in the place that you are at the moment, or in a different organization, or in a different career altogether? Maybe you can use these skills to raise your present position. And what trends are having an impact on your current career? This we will discuss a little later, to the one that you are thinking of pursuing. We have another analysis going, so we'll discuss this, the kind of impact trends can have on what you are doing at the moment. Any questions at the moment, or can I go on? Okay. So let's come to threats. So threat is something that that scares you, okay, that holds you back. They can derail you. It's like, going on a car ride and suddenly there's a boulder on the way that you have to swerve and go past it. Otherwise, the boulder can topple you. So what are the threats that are there in your present position? So if you know what threats there are, if I know there is a possible chasm on my way, I will avoid it. But if I don't know that there is a huge boulder on the way, I'm sure to meet with an accident. So you must know the threats that are there to keep yourself safe. A threat, of course, loses much of its impact when it's managed and prepared for. So you know that there is a boulder on the way. I know how to go around it. I'm prepared for it. So are there any general threats that you need to think about? Please reflect on it. If you don't address your weaknesses, what problems can they cause? So if you've analyzed your weaknesses, if you don't minimize them, what are the problems that you can get into? And all of us get into it because we don't recognize our weaknesses. We think we know everything. I've been in the teaching profession for a long, long time, and I'm the best teacher there is. Even if we have weaknesses, we close our eyes to that. But that's not the right thing to do, whether it is in personal or professional life. You must be aware of your weaknesses so that you can minimize them and get forward to where you want to be. Weaknesses are like chains that hold you back. So let's break the shackles, and acceptance of weaknesses is the first step towards self-development. Now we did SWOT, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So you may, strength, maximize what you're good at. You may, hone your skills that you have already identified that you are good at. You've also looked at your weaknesses and you have minimized your weaknesses. You have also looked at the opportunities that are available to you and also aware of the threats that are there. Like if you may think that the opportunity for you is to change your present position, but then what is the threat when you change, you take that change? So these you have mastered your SWOT. You've analyzed and you say, I know myself and I know what I have to do and how to do it. But there are external factors that may affect you, and that is called a PEST analysis. So this tells you about the external factors which will hinder you even when you have finished your SWOT and you have reflected on what you want to do and how to do it. So what, next slide please. So PEST is another acronym, and P stands for political factors. So what are the political factors you can relate with the present times? There may be new laws and regulations which are actually affect you. Next slide, please. So there may be a change in the government and new policies may come in, which again may affect your ability to work in a specific area and make certain. So is there a change in government or a change in policy? What opportunities and threats do these changes or events represent? Now, these may not be in your control, but they are there. You have to look at them. You have to find ways and means of how you can adhere to the new laws and regulations and how you can create opportunities out of these changes that may take place because of change of government. So you have to be very sure of your ability and your capability. So P in PEST is for political factors. And E is economic factors. So COVID came and a lot of changes took place in our lifestyle. So economic factors will also influence your decisions. Next slide. Decisions to pursue a particular goal. So what are the average compensation levels in the career or industries that you have to think of these? So average compensation levels in careers or industries that you are interested in. You don't just go and change jobs. You look at it. When you are looking for a school for your child to be admitted, you don't just go to any school. You look at the pros and cons of every school and then you decide this is the best school for my child. Similarly, when you want to change careers, you have to look at what is it that they are going to offer me. Is it worth the change? It may be very good now, but will it be down the line over the years? Will it still be that good? So are wages expected to rise, fall, or stay the same? So during COVID time, there were many of us who had to take a cut because the schools were not functioning in the normal scenario that they would, fees were not coming in. And so there were changes in our wages. Then, can you meet your economic needs based on the expected remuneration, change in job? Can you meet your needs on the remuneration that the other person is going to give you? You have to consider that. What is the current and forecast rate of employment or unemployment in these sectors? Now, with digitalization coming in, there is a fear that we may not need so many personnel in the educational field. There is a threat of that. So you have to think about it and see that the forecast of employment or unemployment in whichever sector you choose to work in. And what is the long-term demand for people in these careers? Education for that matter. What is the long-term demand? Will teachers still remain? With online classes going on, will we not? There is a school in Bangalore which is using robots. So are robots going to take over the teaching profession? So these are factors, economic factors, that you need to consider with your SWOT. So PES is socio-cultural factors. Next slide, please. Now, these are the societal trends and influence how attractive a particular opportunity may or may not be. It may look attractive, but it may not be attractive. So, what demographic trends will have an impact on these opportunities? Now, suppose you have opened a coaching center for boys, and suddenly the demographic changes, and there's a large number of girls coming into that area. So your coaching class either closes down or does not meet the kind of economic needs that you had looked forward to. Are the educational requirements for them expected to change? Are educational requirements for any job, more so in the teaching profession, you can't just have a B.Ed degree and say, I am a graduate or postgraduate, I have the B.Ed degree, so there is nothing more that is required. But there is a lot of it required, and according to the National Education Policy, there is much more than just educational requirements. Are there lifestyle trends and changes that will have an impact on the desirability of these careers? You have seen during COVID times, the offline classes have taken a backseat and online classes are at the trend of the day. But when the schools reopened for some classes, the attendance was low because the children had got used to the online classes and to the lifestyle that came with the online classes. So that is why people are thinking of hybrid classes, which will help the children balance the children's need for education. So are there familial expectations? Now you may have everything in place, but there are the family expects something from you. So what is it? What is it that the family wants from you? And you have to balance that while making a career decision. So that will help you. How will these affect your ability to be successful? All of us, we come out to work, we leave our houses, but we have to consider the needs of the family and the expectations of the family from us. So you cannot say, the ladies cannot say that I go out to work, so I'm not going to do any house job. Or the man, for that matter, says, I go out and earn, so when I come back home, I am not going to raise a finger. So those are the societal expectations that you have to consider. And these have become greater during the pandemic. You have faced it. The expectations are much more. And the parents have entered your classroom. So the expectations of the parents from the teacher and the delivery of the teacher raises the question of the ability, capability, and potential of the teacher. So then comes the technological factor, and you know this more than anybody else, that technology moves forward quickly. Next slide, please. Quickly, and you don't want to get left behind. Now, you saw that during when the technology took over the education field, those who did not know how to, use a computer had to learn. Otherwise, you had to say tata bye bye. So they had to learn. They had to learn not only how to operate a computer, but how to get into the various links. You Zoom or Cisco, WebEx, Teammates. You had to know how to operate there. Now you may learn how to operate there, but how to use the different tools that were available. Otherwise, online classes can be very, very boring. So technology has given you an opportunity to enhance your learning. But for those who do not have a good command over technology, you will be left behind. So here you have to consider the questions. What technological trends affect the career that you are in? So, or which you are considering. Suppose you want to move out of the teaching profession and go into a different career, then how much of technology is required there? Here also in the education field, if you remain in the education field, what is the future of this career vis-a-vis technology? Are there aspects of these jobs that are likely to be automated or digitized in the next few years? Am I going out because my job may be automated or digitized? I gave you the example of the school in Bangalore using a robo as a teacher. Artificial intelligence is fast coming in. So is my career at threat? How is technology influencing the type of work you do or the way you complete your tasks? Now, it's paperless work. So whether you're making your lesson plan or whether you're making a presentation to the class or whatever requires you need the use of technology, and you need it to help you raise your standard of teaching or living, personal and professional. So these are the best analysis that you do before you come into the grid for self-development. So these, having considered these factors, you have, next slide please, you got everything in theory. This is all theory. SWOT analysis is theory, pest analysis is theory. So it's all there good on paper. But it's all in your mind. Your self-development, you said, okay, I've done my SWOT, I know my strength, I know my weakness, I know the opportunities that are available to me, and I know the threats. And then I have considered the political, the economic, the societal, and the technological factors that may affect me. So these are all in the mind or on the paper. Now you need to take self-organizational steps necessary to bring this plan to life. So what do? Answer a few questions. Those who want to answer, please unmute yourself and then answer. So consider, what is it that you want to be or to do or have? What is it? This is kind of a goal. So what is it that you want? Let's see what you want to be. What do you want to be? Anyone can answer. Please unmute yourself and answer. It'll be nice. Everybody would like to know what you want to be. Come on. I'm sure you know what you want to be. Because if you don't know what you want to be, then you are just going through life. You have no motivation, you have no goal, you have no reason for being where you are. So what do you want to be? Yes, somebody answering? Come on, who was that? I could hear a voice, but I couldn't get it.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Yes,
I want to be an effective teacher.
effective teacher. What is an effective teacher?
Not only good in my knowledge, that means not only in the command in my subject, but also I want to be trained in all the aspects of the teaching and learning process.
Okay. Okay. So what do you want to do? Now you know what you want to be. So what do you want to do? That was Sarita Rani Behra. So what do you want to do then?
I want to learn that how I can tackle the children, how can understand their mind, how can do my subject become more effective and more enthusiastic, so that children can learn with enjoyment. Not only they will pressurize, but also they can enjoy the exact subject.
Okay. So do you have to do any kind of self-development for this? Or you are equipped for it?
Now I'm learning, ma'am. From this session, then only I can say.
You see what? what? You see, you must know what you have to do to get what you want.
Exactly, ma'am.
Yeah, see, that is what we were talking about, that you need to assess yourself. You need to know your strengths. You need to know what are the external factors that are affecting your progress. And then at the end, you say you want to be a good teacher. So, and you're doing certain things to be a good teacher. So now what do you want to have? After all this, what is the return that you want? We talked about health, wealth, and happiness. So, what is it that you want after being a good teacher, after learning how to be a good teacher? What is the end return that you want to have? Is that anything? Yes, somebody else? Yeah?
Yes, ma'am. I
Yeah.
want to improve my weakness and make it a strength.
Okay. So then
Yes.
that is what you want to have. You want to be
Yes.
stronger in
Yes.
your skills. Is
Yes,
that
of
what you're
course.
saying? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you could wave a magic wand over your life right now, you have a magic wand. So what and have whatever it is that you want, what would that be? If you had a magic wand, what would be your first desire? What would be, if you come across stories, I give you 3 wishes. Sorry? I can't hear you. Please say that again. What would be the yeah? Anyone?
How can I tackle my aggression?
Can you settle your?
During the class, I get sorry.
Okay, let's get out of the class syndrome. See, we are not all that we will, have and magic wand and you will only be in the class. There must be something else. So look at it from your personal and professional group. Yes, Aparna, you can talk, unmute yourself.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, I want to become a motivational speaker and go into mentoring, ma'am.
So that's your magic wand. Once you see, you may have a magic wand, but you still have to move it, isn't it? So to move the magic wand, you have to have a great move towards what you want to be. You want to be a motivational speaker. That's nice. Anyone else? Somebody else may also want to be something else. Yes, Aparna, your hand is still up. Someone else? There's so many of us. You know, if you don't answer, that means you're going through life without a goal, which is so sad. Everybody has to have a goal. You don't just make a living, you live. So why are we living? You have to think about that. So, okay, if you could achieve just one big goal, what would that be? One big goal. And don't tell me I want to be the greatest teacher. Let's get out of the classroom and let's think out of the box. What would your goal be? One big goal. Okay. You know, I asked a class of students that what is it that you want to do which you have not done before? And they came up with amazing answers. One said, I want to fly in an aeroplane. The other one said, I want to have dinner at a 5-star restaurant. Another said, I would like to, cycle down the road, which he was not allowed to do by his parents. Simple, innocent answers. So I'm asking you, what is it that you would want as a goal? Or let's change it. What is it that you would want to do that you have not done before? Something that you have not. Yes? Come on.
Yes,
You know,
I want to achieve 100% learning outcomes.
okay. Again, again from the classroom. That's all? You don't think of your personal life?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes?
I
Good
want
afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah?
Yes, ma'am. From what I think that first of all, I need to know that what actually I want to do, because most of the time we don't know that what I actually want to do, because sometimes we
Exactly.
think that what. So first of all, I need to know that what I want to do and what I want to be, and if I
Yes.
want to be that, so to achieve that, what am I doing?
Correct.
So after that, my second step is to work towards that, that what are my
Okay.
shortcomings, what are my weakness,
Uh-huh.
and this I won't know from myself, this I will know from some other side. So in spite of means criticizing others, I should know that, yeah, those are my shortcomings. Now what can I do so that I overcome from that? And once I know that what I want to be, what are my weakness, and if I start working towards that, that is my self development. That means
Yes.
I'm working towards what I want to do, and right now I understand that actually what I want to be. So
Yes.
this I alone cannot do. This I will know from various sources. And after that, with a positive attitude, I need to work towards that. And
Okay.
I hope after knowing that means what I want to be, what I want to achieve, like the teachers are saying that I want to be a more effective teacher and all. I think through this process, slowly, one by one, we can achieve our goal.
Yes. So your goal is first to find out who you are and what you
Ma'am,
are good
yes.
at. So who you are, you have to analyze yourself. You have to know yourself. Others may tell you, but that may not be the right assessment. Of course, it will be part of the assessment, taking feedbacks from other people. But knowing yourself, reflecting, sit by yourself and think about yourself. What are you good at? What is your weakness? Why are you not able to overcome your weakness? What are the threats? What are the obstacles? What are the opportunities? And what are the external factors that prevent me from attaining my goal? So those are what you have to do. Now suppose holidays are coming, or especially during summer holidays, we all plan to go out. How do we do it? How do we plan? Hmm? How do we plan our holidays? Right from the beginning to the end. What do? Nobody plans. They just get up on the train or plane or car or whatever, and they just go. Is that it?
We decide the date, ma'am, then
Okay.
destination.
You decide the destination. Then you decide the date. You decide the destination. Then
Good
what?
evening, ma'am.
Then book,
Hmm?
then do the
Good
required
evening, ma'am.
bookings.
No, I'm asking what is the requirement. Good evening.
Ma'am,
What is
just I would like to ask you one thing. That
Yes.
sometimes what happens nowadays, we are facing the problem that in
Uh-huh.
many schools we have just wanted to finish the syllabus. So what
Yes.
happens? What happens sometimes? We just want to finish the syllabus in that term. The children may not understand the context, but the pressure is put to finish the syllabus. In that situation, what shall we do?
Now, you are saying the pressure is to finish the syllabus and the children are not understanding. What do they
Yeah.
have to understand? They have to understand the concept?
Yeah, the concept, because sometime in CBSE there are so many lessons and then the
So,
months are very
if you are
few.
teaching, so that it is that you are not able to get through to this. You have to
Pardon, ma'am?
concise the lessons,
Yeah,
get the concepts of each, and that is not important. So what is the general? We take our lessons from the heading of the lesson to the last line of the lesson. To learn for themselves, you have to give the concepts and lead the children to discover, and all the time you have to let it go for them to walk. So don't say there is a pressure of syllabus. The syllabus is made with some logic in mind, and when the syllabus could not be completed during the pandemic, a lot of it was cut off also. So it has to go for you to see how the syllabus
since it is locked down, so there is a short of time,
Yes.
and in between those months
Yes.
only we have to complete the full syllabus. So
Yes.
is there any solution? I just like to ask.
Syllabus was curtailed. As I said, you know, when you take out a lesson, you have to
Yeah.
see what this lesson wants the children to know.
Yeah.
And once you know what the lesson is trying to get to the children, it will be easy for you. Let's not go line by line and start it. Very boring. You have to find various techniques to get the lesson through. Don't just use the chalk and talk method.
And
There are various
one thing more,
Yes.
ma'am, that so sometime when we go to the higher class like 8th, 9th,
Yeah.
10th, and many times the children, they don't pay the attention, no, they just pretend to be just in the class, but their minds is somewhere else. So in that situation, what shall we do?
That means you see, this is what I'm saying. What is self-development? Are we looking at ourselves and saying, is my class attractive and engaging enough for all the children? Why should the child be distracted if your class is interesting? The child doesn't need to have attention somewhere else. And as I said, you need to learn any technique. Number of techniques were taught before by other trainers, how to keep the children engaged in class. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, somebody else? So now that you have your plans on paper or in your mind, you have to put. So we're discussing a journey. Yes. Just find your flow you. Okay, somebody is unmuted for what makes it go, what makes it flow, is attitude. Okay, so when we plan a journey, somebody said we plan on the date and we plan on the destination, and then we buy the tickets for whichever mode of transport that we are taking. We know the date of arrival, we know the date of departure, we know where we are going to stay, we plan where we are and what we are going to do during our visit to that place. All that is planned and departure. But in our life, we don't do that planning. We just go, okay, we get up in the morning and we'll go and do our routine job and come back, which is boring for you and for the people under your jurisdiction. So we have to plan how we can make lives more productive, more attractive, more engaging for ourselves also. So you had a few training before, Mr. Sen, giving you SMART goals. How to make your goals smart. Another acronym, SMART. Those who have attended will remember this. S for specific. When you draw up your goals, you have to be specific. You were specific that I am going from Jamshedpur to, say, Sri Lanka. So you were specific. M, the goals have to be measurable. If you decide that I am very fat, I need to lose 10 kgs. Then A, achievable. You can't say I will lose 10 kgs in 2 months. It has to be achievable target. So you have to go from month to month till you get your target. That was A. R. It has to be realistic. Again, when you say that I need to lose 10 kgs, it has to be realistic in the number of time period that you're going to lose that weight. You can't say in 1 month or 2 months. That's not realistic. And T is time bound. So any goal that you have has to be time bound. By this age, I must have a house of my own. By this, I must complete my education. By this age, I must get my children married, whatever your goal may be. But you have to decide, you must have a plan. You can't live on a day-to-day basis. It has to be planned. Don't you plan, I must put by so much of my salary for my old age. You have health insurance. Why do you have health insurance? That when I'm sick, I have enough money to take care of me. Those are plans that you're making. So why not plan how you can better yourself as a person, as a professional? How do I become better than I was today? Tomorrow I should be better. So to be better, what do I have to do? If I have my strength, how do I minimize my weaknesses? What are the steps I must take to weaken my to relieve my weak points? So these are things that you have to sit and do. You can't just say, I know teachers who have been teaching in a class for a number of years and they have not changed a word in the delivery or in the notes that they give. Things have changed. You have to, keep up with the times. And unless you address your classes with the real world, they are ineffective. Gone are the days when the teachers were the bosses or the gods in the classroom and the children followed by the word what the teacher said. Today, they are partners. Students and teachers are partners, and they have to learn from each other. It's a mutual developing, evoluting process. And the sooner we understand that, we take responsibility of our actions, the better we will be. So we have to decide what we want to be. Should we go like robos all over the place? Or do I start planning, even if it is your plan for lesson? So somebody said, there's no time for completing the syllabus. If you plan how your syllabus will be completed, in what time, your syllabus will be completed. You have to keep buffer time for unforeseen circumstances. But obviously, the council or the board makes the syllabus keeping the time that schools have with them. So let's not blame anybody. Let's blame ourselves or look into ourselves that there is something wrong that I'm doing, that I'm unable to complete the curriculum that is handed down to me. So what is it that I have to do? Put it down in paper. Make your SMART goals. By this time, I will complete this. By this time, I will do this. By this, it will happen. Similarly, on your personal front, chalk down your goals. What is it that I want out of my life? What are my responsibilities? Why am I unable to raise myself from the position that I am in? Why is my colleague getting to become the coordinator and why not me? What is wrong with me? So unless you look inwards, you won't be able to become a better person, whether it is professional life, whether it is personal life. You see, some time ago, if you raised your hand on your child, it was okay. But today, if you raise your hand on your child, it's not okay. So things are changing. So you must. So I hope you promise that you will do the SWOT and the pest analysis and make a grid, write the goal that you have, write your strength for achieving that goal, write the weakness that may be a hurdle in that goal, write the external factors that may affect that goal, and write the time period by which you will achieve that goal. I'm sure there is nothing that will keep you back. You will be self-developing yourself, but you have to know what you want to develop. Okay? Is that okay? Any questions? Will all be able to do that? Make a grid for themselves, writing down, at least for this year, you can write down. Till March, you have your semester till March, write down what you want to achieve by that time. Write down what you want to be by that time. What to do, what to be, and what is it that you want to have. It may be, you may want to have a motorcycle by that time. So how do I go about it? How much do I have to save? What is it that is preventing me from getting the motorcycle today?
Excuse me, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, I have one
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Ma'am, there are certain families who are uneducated, but they are sending their children to CBSE English medium schools to study, and at home they don't get an environment to study properly. How can they tackle that situation, and how can they work in that situation?
Why are you asking the children to tackle the situation? What are you there for?
Actually, the environment at home, they are not getting the environment to home.
It's okay. If that is a problem, then the rural and children will never get an opportunity to study. So
Then
it
how
is
will they
your
develop?
job to give that extra something to the children to help them to overcome this obstacle. So that's a goal that you can have, that this year I am going to see that the children who come from backgrounds where they get no support from the family, I am going to hold hands with them. And I hold hand doesn't mean I'm going to tutor them. I am going to hold hands and see that they come to the mark of the other children. Let that be a goal. What's wrong with that? I want to be a good teacher. So a good teacher doesn't mean that I help only the students who have come from educated background.
हम कहीं नहीं जाएंगे अब
So you have to help them. Keep them back in the school for an hour or so, maybe 3 times a week. Not everybody comes from an educated background. It's a very urban kind of thinking. And that's the kind of thinking that is keeping the RTE children back. So let's make that a goal. That the 3 children or 2 children or even 1 child is educated properly because of me. Because I have been his teacher. Okay, can we do that? हाँ? किसी के गुरु बन जाओ. Teacher मत
Definitely.
बनो, गुरु बनो.
Definitely we'll do that, ma'am.
Yes, you should. That is our job.
We'll try
Hello,
our level best.
hello, ma'am. I have a question.
Advice.
Dear participants, there are somebody who are unmuted and talking. It is my
Hello, ma'am.
request.
I have a question. Can I ask a question?
Yes,
Please let me speak. There is somebody who is unmuted and there is lots of disturbance. Please mute yourself, and the person who is intending to speak, please unmute yourself and ask your question quickly because we are nearing the time.
Ma'am, how to set a plan A, B, C for a student? How they will set it?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
Ma'am, how the student can plan, matlab how to set their goal A if they are not successfully getting in the goal A, how they will set goal B and C?
First of all, why are they not getting their goal A? They have to analyze that. What is it that has prevented them from getting the goal A? Once the person comes to know that these are the hindrances or shackles that are preventing me from getting my goal, they will definitely come to a solution and then get on to goal B. There is nothing that can keep you back if your intentions are clear. There is nothing that can keep you back from something that you really want, not that you do as a routine, but that you really want. You must want to be a self-developed person. You must want to develop yourself, not as a routine. You don't have to.
Thank you, ma'am, for the very
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
an interesting session. I hope that all the participants will take back some learning from today's session and use them in your professional life, because as teachers, your main aim is to develop yourself and ultimately develop your students. Dear participants, the attendance link will not be sent as told earlier. Those who have stayed in the meeting for 45 to 50 minutes continuously will be sent the certificates. Otherwise, your attendance will not be counted. It will be automatically downloaded from the packet. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And please, have completed asking your queries from madam, you can exit the meeting.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It was a very nice session. Really learned a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. I hope
Thank you so much.
carry out.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
It was a session full of warmth.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, you can exit the meeting if you feel so. Thank you for the nice session.
तुम उसको ये समझ के रखना। अब हमको लग रहा है कि वो पता नहीं, देखो हमको लगता है व्हाट अबाउट अटेंडेंस लिंक, लेकिन करने के समय में ना कोई
Mute all. हाँ